Alright, hi everybody, welcome. My name is Chance. This is my first video. Hope I can get this right. I just wanted to tell everybody about my experience. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in August of last year, and I just wanted to share my journey and let everybody know how it went for me. Hopefully the videos get better as I, talk through them. I know when I was first diagnosed, I went on YouTube and I was looking for videos to help me understand everything. And I only saw like maybe four videos of the process, and like three of those were from years ago. So hopefully I can share my journey. I know everybody's is different. I'm currently in the middle of the process, so I want to continue. So I just want to break it down and start from the beginning of it to where I am now, and then hopefully continue as I move forward. So it was late July, early August. I was in the shower, and when I'm washing the areas, I noticed a big lump here, a bump here, and I couldn't tell. And when I turned a certain way, I could feel it, but then I couldn't feel it, and then I didn't know what I was feeling. But I just know that it felt different on the left side than the right side. And so when I got out, I told my husband to check. Like, do you feel something here? Check. Do you feel like, do it feel different? And he was comparing it, and he was like, no, that do feel a little different. And I still was trying to not think it was anything. So I called my doctor and made an appointment. And to get in, I had to schedule a breast exam so that she can check, because I'm only 32 years old. I'm too young to just schedule a mammogram. So I had to go to my doctor and let her do a breast exam. And she did a breast exam. She felt everywhere, and she said, yeah, it does feel a little different. I'm not sure what it is. We'll send you to do a diagnostic mammogram. So she had to put in the order for me to be able to go do the mammogram. But she said it could be like, I think she said fibrosis tissues or something, where tissue just lumps together and it feels like that. And so that's what I was hopeful for. So about a week later, I went to do the mammogram, and I had to do the pictures, I had to do the machine, I had to do everything. And I knew it was something when, after I just did the regular part, that I had to sit and wait for the ultrasound where they can look at it on the computer, on the machine or whatever. So they pulled me to the back, they gelled me up, they were looking at it and taking pictures, and I could see the lump during the mammogram. I can see it on the screen and everything. And then so I had to wait on the doctor to come in, and I just could tell that it was something when like everybody was a little bit different when handling me. So at first everybody was like, oh, you're young, it should be nothing, this and that, yada yada yada. And then I could just tell the difference in their actions and how they, in their energy and everything. And all the nurses that came in there until the doctor came in there and in the room, and she was looking at it, and she was saying, I'm concerned that it may be a cancer. And then she was looking at it on the screen, and she was like, there's lighting around it. It looks aggressive. I'm not sure until we do further testing, but it looks like a cancer. And knowing that they do this every day, I immediately knew. Like, even though she couldn't tell me, like, yes, for sure, this is a cancer, like, I immediately knew that that's what it was based on her reaction. And you have experience in it, so I know that that's what it is. So I just broke down. Like, I just broke down crying. I when you hear that, like, you know, it doesn't run in my family. I don't know where it came from, and nobody in my family on my mom or my dad's side had it to my knowledge. So, and she was asking me, does it run in my family? And I'm saying no. But when you hear that, you immediately think, well, I immediately thought that I'm dying. Like, let me get stuff in order. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just so bad. And um, at this time, this was in August, like towards the end of August. Um, my mom had been in the hospital, in and out the hospital since June, and she was, you know, battling her own um, illnesses. She didn't have cancer, but she just had a bunch of other stuff like um, congestive heart failure, diabetes. She was on dialysis. She had kidney failure. She had a stroke in June, and she had just been in and out of the hospital all these months. And she was currently in the hospital. So I just couldn't tell her. And then I didn't want to tell my dad either because he's, you know, taking care of her. So I didn't want to stress anybody, especially since, like, I knew it was cancer, but I had to still do like a pathology and get all this information, and I wanted to have a plan. So I didn't want to stress them out, and they asked me questions and then I didn't have the answer. So I just kept it to myself between me and my husband, and till we get everything together. So um the next thing I had to do, they had to, I'm sorry if I keep glancing, I have my notes so that I can try to hit all the points. So the next thing that I had to do was go in for like the pathology so that they can run tests and send it off to a lab to see like what kind, to confirm it and everything like that. So I was able to get back in like the following week. And I don't know why everything was so slow. It just seems like, or maybe it was just slow in my head, but the waiting period to get answers and to get tests, and when I'm going in for all these tests, they're like, oh, we'll send it to your doctor, and nobody could give me any information, and it just made like everything so much more stressful until I got all the information back. So I went in for the pathology where they, you know, shot it and get like a sample of it to send to the labs and, you know, see what it is. So maybe like 4 days or so after that, the doctor called and confirmed, and she said it wasn't the answer that we were hoping for. It is confirmed to be a cancer. Um, she's gonna refer me to a surgeon to look at it because I just went to my OBGYN. She did everything. So that's not her expertise. She had to send it. And she was saying, if it doesn't run in your family and being that you're so young, you can take this genetic test to see if it's some type of gene mutation or something. And she was saying, like, one famous person that took the test was Angelina Jolie, and she did this. And I know she was trying to make me feel better, but it's kind of like, I don't care about Angelina Jolie. Like, I don't, like, that don't make me feel any better that she took a test and found out something and had a, like, that didn't make me feel better. And I still didn't understand what all this was. But she just got the information, let me know, and then said that the doctor would be reaching out to me, and she gave me her information. But I just had to wait for her to contact me to schedule an appointment. And then so the place where I did the mammogram, and she was so nice. I'm not sure what her position was, but she called and told me everything. Like, my doctor only just called and told me, like, yeah, this is what it is. I'm referring you to a surgeon to move forward. And but the lady from the mammogram place, she called and she was giving me more information. So she said that the tumor was it was measuring from the test 3.8 centimeters, and that my receptor, what that the name of it was the invasive ductal carcinoma, and that my receptors, which are what feeds it and makes it grows, the tumor grow, was positive for estrogen, positive for progesterone, and positive for HER2. So I'm triple positive, which scared me because the whole time in while I was waiting, I was looking up like YouTube videos and trying to Google stuff and figure out stuff. And triple positive was like not one of, I saw a bunch of negatives. I saw positive for estrogen, but negative for HER2 and negative everything. And but I didn't. It said like 10% of the diagnoses were triple positive. So that meant that I was trying to prepare myself for the worst, and every time that I felt like that I was okay with something, if it happened, like, okay, I'll just have to do this, okay, I'll just have to do this. Once I process, like, this is what I have, I can't change it, let's move forward with trying to figure it out. And then it just kept seeming like I just kept getting hit with, like, oh, it's worse than you thought, oh, it's worse than you thought. Even though I tried to prepare myself for the worst, it just kept being, oh, it's worse than you thought, oh, it's worse than you thought. So when she said that, she was like, she couldn't tell me, of course she's not a doctor, and but she was saying that I may have to do like oral medications, I may have to do chemo because HER2 positive, they usually treat with chemo. And she was like, you just have to talk to the doctor and see this and that. So for whatever reason, the doctor, I had to wait like 2 weeks to see the doctor for everything. And that waiting period was just, yeah, that waiting period was so hard because everything is going through my mind. I didn't feel anything here, like it didn't hurt me physically, but just knowing it was there was scary. And all the videos that I was watching and YouTube and everything that I was Googling, and I don't know if it was in my head, but just suddenly everything was like my back started hurting and my throat started itching and hurting, and then of course I'm Googling that and they're like, oh well, that could be a sign that it spread to your bones. And then I'm just like, oh my god, it's in my bones, and oh my gosh, it's in thyroids, or like I just didn't know. And everything, it was mentally like, it was so bad. And when you don't want to tell people and you have to put on a happy face because I still wanted to be treated normal, and then I didn't have all the answers. So I don't want people to have to go through what I'm going through, waiting on, well, what is this, and what is that, or what did they say, or what's next, and all of this other stuff. I was just trying to prepare myself for, you know, everything that could possibly come next, so that when I did, let my family know and my parents know that I could have like, this is what it is, but this is what they said, and this is what we're gonna do. But I just had to wait to see the doctor to get all of the information. So, I guess I could just move into that next meeting with the surgeon. So, I finally was able to meet the surgeon, and I went in, and she had ordered, before I met the surgeon, she did order a MRI. So I went in for an MRI, but I didn't have any of the information. They said they have to send it to the doctor. So I did have to wait to see the doctor to get like the results. So I went to meet with her, and so she had the MRI back, and she had my pathology information, and so she knew everything. So the plan that she had was to do 6 rounds of chemo, and then I still have to do, and that's once every 3 weeks for chemo, and then I still have to do the other medicines since my diagnosis was HER2 positive. Is for Herceptin and Perjeta. I will still have to do that along with the chemo, plus once every 3 weeks of those infusions for a year. And then after that, 5 years of oral medication, which I think is, I haven't got to that far yet, but I think it's like to block the hormones, certain hormones that your body produces that feeds the tumor. So she referred me to an oncologist. So I still had to see another doctor. She scheduled a PET scan, and I had to go in there, and that's supposed to check to see if it spread anywhere and things like that. She said that the MRI came back okay, like you could only see the tumor on the left side, and now we're waiting for the PET scan to check like the full body. So I had to, she had to send me for a schedule that, or ordered it so that I could go and have that scheduled to check to make sure it didn't go anywhere else in my body. And I think that I had to wait for them to call and schedule that. Everything goes by referral. I couldn't just, walk into these places. I had to wait for the doctor to send a referral over or order over to order these tests so that I can go in. And it was just like really driving me it was driving me crazy, because at one point I was telling my friend, I'm like, if I don't get anything or if they don't do this, I'm gonna just go to the emergency room and see if they could like run these tests so that I won't sit here and just go crazy. It just seemed like everything was moving so slow, and it's like, if this is in my body, like I need to, like I want to move to get this done. So the next thing she said was, I guess since I don't really know why, but I think since my receptors were triple positive, she wanted to start with the chemo before the surgery. I still haven't had surgery yet. Right now it's scheduled for February 16th. So what I'll like update. I want to continue to update and do videos moving forward, but I had to start she recommended that I start chemo first and possibly can shrink the tumor and then remove it. And then she was giving me options to think about whether if I wanted to do the lumpectomy, where they just go in and take the lump out. And she was saying if it shrinks with the chemo, then maybe it can go so small that she'll only have to do a small incision to remove it. Or if I wanted to do the mastectomy, where she removed the whole breast out, or if I wanted to remove both, even though my right side wasn't affected, to think about those options, think about what I wanted to do. And she was like, and think about for reconstruction since she's so young. And she was saying, you can do where they move the fat from somewhere else and create breasts out of that, or you can do implants. So she was just saying, think about all that. I'm going to have to do the chemo first. That's the treatment plan. And then after chemo, do a surgery, and I decide which one. And then I still have to go back to do the other treatments for the remainder of the year. And she said radiation was questionable. It just depended on after the surgery. And it still to this day, it still depends on after the surgery if they find it in my lymph nodes or in my or if it's like moving around, then or if it's in other tissues after she removed everything, then I would possibly have to do radiation. But at that time, and still at this time, it's still a question mark. I don't know if I'll have to do it. So I met with her. She did say like the HER2 is aggressive, but she was trying to reassure me that they have medicines and to target it, and to that with just the Herceptin and the Perjeta, to try to fight that type of tumor. I did have to stop my birth control because that was estrogen, which feeds the tumor. So I had to stop my birth control, and I went in for the PET scan, and the PET scan was, it came back good. They didn't find anything in there in the PET scan, but just waiting for that was it was nerve-wracking for sure. But they didn't find anything there. So the next step was to, meet with the oncologist and to get my port inserted. So I'm gonna stop this one here. I'm about to do it now anyway, and I'll put them together. I'll post them together, but I just didn't want the video to be like too long because it's a lot of information. So I'm gonna stop this one here, and then I'm immediately about to record the next one for how when I got my port inserted, and meeting with the oncologist, and then starting my chemo treatments. So thank you for watching. If you got this far, I appreciate it. I just wanted to help people if they go through this. And even though my journey went this way, I watched a lot of other videos whose journeys were different. So I just wanted people to, see or learn and see how mine went. But anyway, I'll stop and start the next one. But thank you for watching.